Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, text number 36. Anyathatya vyaktagatehe darshanam nah katham druna nitaram riyamanana samsiddhasya vaniyashaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: otherwise, without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how is it that you have voluntarily appeared here, though you are moving incognito to the common man and are not visible to us who are on the verge of death? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami was certainly inspired by Lord Krishna to appear voluntarily before Maharaj Pariksit, the great devotee of the Lord, just to give him the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. One can achieve the nucleus of the devotional service of the Lord by the mercy of the spiritual master and the personality of Godhead. The spiritual master is the manifested representative of the Lord to help one achieve ultimate success. One who is not authorized by the Lord cannot become a spiritual master. Srila Sukadeva Goswami is an authorized spiritual master, and thus he was inspired by the Lord to appear before Maharaj Pariksit and instruct him in the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. One can achieve the ultimate success of going back to Godhead if he is favored by the Lord's sending his true representative. As soon as a true representative of the Lord is met by a devotee of the Lord, the devotee is assured a guarantee for going back to Godhead just after leaving the present body. This, however, depends on the sincerity of the devotee himself. The Lord is seated in the heart of all beings, and thus he knows very well the movements of all individual persons. As soon as the Lord finds that a particular soul is very eager to go back to Godhead, the Lord at once sends his bona fide representative. The sincere devotee is thus assured by the Lord of going back to Godhead. The conclusion is that to get the assistance and help of a bona fide spiritual master means to receive the direct help of the Lord himself. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Hare Krishna. So here in this section of the Bhagavatam, this is actually the last chapter in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's almost the concluding portions. So here, having received Sukadeva Goswami into that assembly of sages, Maharaj Pariksit offered him a elevated seat, and then he's glorifying Sukadeva Goswami about his divine qualities, his transcendental qualities. What are the nature, the divine qualities, and the behavior of great exalted devotees, especially Sukadeva Goswami. So in the earlier verses also we saw how Sukadeva Goswami was a special devotee of the Lord, and he was inspired by Lord Krishna himself to come to this assembly and to instruct Maharaj Pariksit and deliver the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. So both these personalities, Maharaj Pariksit as well as Sukadeva Goswami, both are highly elevated and great personalities. If you see the life of Maharaj Pariksit also, from his birth itself, even before he took his birth, when he was in the womb of his mother, he had the privilege of taking darshan of the Lord. You all know this pastime of the Lord. When Ashwathama releases Brahmastra against Uttara, the wife of Abhimanyu, and to kill her, the fetus, the baby, the child inside the womb of Uttara, she immediately appeals to Lord Krishna for protection. Then, in order to protect the only surviving heir of the Pandava dynasty, the Pandu dynasty, because in the Pandu dynasty, all other personalities were killed, except for 5 Pandavas. And then, of course, their son Abhimanyu was also, Arjuna's son Abhimanyu was also killed in the Mahabharata battlefield in the Kurukshetra. And his son, Maharaj Pariksit, was the only surviving heir for the Pandu dynasty. And Ashwatthama targeted him also. But then Krishna, as it is mentioned in the earlier verse also in text 35, it said, Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead who is very dear to the sons of King Pandu, has accepted me as one of those relatives just to please his great cousins and brothers. So Lord is always very kind towards his devotees. So in order to protect this only surviving heir for the Pandu dynasty, Lord Krishna expanded himself as a kavacha, as a shield around the womb of Uttara and protected Maharaj Pariksit. So the child in the womb of Mother Uttara, he could see the Lord well within the womb of his mother himself. So like this, Maharaj Pariksit is a highly greatly fortunate soul. And then after he took birth, he inherited the kingdom of Pandavas. His grandfathers, like Pandavas, they had to struggle so much to get the kingdom. Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, they had to struggle so much, and they had to fight against Kauravas, they had to fight against Duryodhana and his brothers, and they had a great battlefield of Kurukshetra. And after a lot of struggle, they had to obtain this kingdom. But in the case of Maharaj Pariksit, he was very fortunate in that sense that he just inherited the kingdom from the Pandavas. He did not have to go and fight against any kings or any war. He has to go and fight against his enemies, nothing like that, because he inherited the kingdom of the Pandavas. And of course it was the entire planet, because Maharaj Yudhishthira was such a powerful ruler that he was ruling over the whole planet Earth, and Maharaj Pariksit, he just inherited it. And of course, he was also a very powerful, very, very chivalrous king. And seeing his power, seeing his strength, all his enemies would voluntarily come and surrender to him and offer their taxes. He was a very efficient administrator, very powerful king. He punishes Kalipurusha also. When Kalipurusha was harassing a cow and a bull, so he immediately punishes this Kalipurusha and he drives him away out of his kingdom. So like this, Maharaj Pariksit was a very powerful king, very powerful ruler. He led a very successful, very glorious life. And then at the time of his death, when he was cursed by a Brahmana boy, Shrungi, that he will meet death in 7 days by the bite of a Takshaka snake bird. So in order to deliver him back home, back to Godhead, Lord also made him arrangement so that a great devotee like Sukadeva Goswami was sent to him to deliver Srimad Bhagavatam, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, so that he can achieve the ultimate perfection of life. So much care, so much affection, so much of concern Lord showed for Maharaj Pariksit, right from his birth throughout his lifetime, and when he was quitting his body and he was about to meet death, till then Lord was acting as his personal guardian, personal guide, mentor, a friend, and he was taking care of Maharaj Pariksit so nicely. Either directly or indirectly he was doing that. So why did he do that? Why Maharaj Pariksit was favored so much? Why? Because as Maharaj Pariksit himself is telling here that in the previous verse we read this. Now, Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is very dear to the sons of King Pandu, has accepted me as one of those relatives just to please his great cousins and brothers. Just because he is related to Pandavas, Maharaj Pariksit was shown so much favor, so much affection by the Lord because he was related to Pandavas. Because he is the grandson of Pandavas. And these Pandavas, Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, they are very, very exalted, great, pure devotees of the Lord. So anyone who is a pure devotee of the Lord, he is rendering the highest service to the family also. Just because Pandavas were great devotees, Lord not only took care of Pandavas, but he also took care of his of their family members also, just like Maharaj Pariksit. So though Pandavas retired from their worldly life and they took Vanaprastha and went off to Badrikashrama, and Maharaj Pariksit was ruling over the kingdom, and then eventually like Pandavas also left this world and went back to spiritual world. But then Lord Krishna, he was so much concerned about this grandson of Pandavas that he showed so much of affection and care for Maharaj Pariksit. And then in today's verse we are hearing that being inspired by Lord Krishna, because without being inspired by Lord Krishna, nothing can happen. So here Maharaj Pariksit is saying, otherwise without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how is it that you have voluntarily appeared here? He did not go and invite Sukadeva Goswami. My dear Sukadeva Goswami, I have received a curse like this, please come and instruct me. Did he go and invite Sukadeva Goswami? He did not do that. But Sukadeva Goswami, who is Sukadeva Goswami, such a great exalted Paramhamsa devotee, he voluntarily chose to appear there and deliver the message of Srimad Bhagavatam to Pariksit Maharaj. So this is all the divine arrangement of the Lord. So unless somebody is inspired by Lord Krishna, the super soul in the heart, he is sitting in the heart of every devotee he inspires. And then he arranged this meeting between Maharaj Pariksit and Sukadeva Goswami. And to understand some of the glories of Sukadeva Goswami also, the Sukadeva Goswami is not an ordinary personality. He is a very, very exalted Paramahamsa devotee. Who is Sukadeva Goswami? Sukadeva Goswami is the son of Vedavyas. Okay, so Vedavyas, it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada also mentions in the purport, like there are details of Sukadeva Goswami mentioned in Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Okay, so in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, there is a brief history about the birth of Sukadeva Goswami and his dealings. So Vedavyas had a wife, the daughter of Pingala, the daughter of one great Rishi called Jabala Rishi. Okay, so her name was Pingala. Okay, so Vedavyas was married to this daughter of Jabala Rishi, and he begot a son called Sukadeva Goswami. In fact, Sukadeva Goswami was considered to be an incarnation of parrot of Radharani. Like whenever we do an alankara, a special alankara for Radharani, when parrot is kept beside her. So they say like that Sukadeva Goswami is an incarnation of parrot of Srimati Radharani. And when he was in the womb of Pingala, like he didn't want to come out of the mother's womb for 12 long years. For 12 years, he stayed within the womb of his mother, thinking that if I come out of the mother's womb, then I'll be influenced by this Maya Moha, and I become conditioned by these three gunas. I'll come under this bodily conception of life, Dehatma Buddhi, and then I have to continue my material existence. I have to continue in this world, accepting repeated birth and death. So fearing this Maya illusion, he didn't want to come out of his mother's womb only. So for 12 long years, he stayed at mother's womb because he was fixed up in Brahman realization. Aham Brahman, so like that, I'm pure soul, I'm not the body. I'm Sachidanand, like I am the Nirakara Nirguna Brahma. The Brahmavadis are there like that. So they are fixed up in this Brahma Jnana. So like that, he didn't want to come out of the mother's womb. Then Vedavyas had to go and approach Lord Krishna in Dwaraka. So Vedavyas approached Krishna, and then he requests Lord Krishna to come and appeal to this child so they can come out. Then Lord Krishna personally comes to Vyasa Gufa in Badrikashrama, and then he has to pray, appeal to this child that, my dear child, come out of the mother's womb. I will ensure you that you will not become trapped in Maya, in illusion. So, because Lord Krishna assured him like that, Sukadeva Goswami, he came out of his mother's womb. And as soon as he came out, because he was already 12 years old, so immediately started walking away. He walked out of his father's hermitage and he went into the forest. And Vedavyas kept on following him. My dear son, Putra, wait, I have so many other duties towards you. I have a lot of other samskaras, so many other rituals to be performed. Because when a child is born, it is the duty of the father and mother to organize all these samskaras. There are Dashavida samskaras. There are Jataka karma, there are Namakarana ceremony, and then there are so many things. So Upanayana, like that. So there are so many samskaras to be done, but Sukadeva Goswami was such an exalted soul that he is above all these samskaras. Because all these samskaras are required for what? For our purification, isn't it? For the purification of our subtle body, for our consciousness to be purified. So we have to go through these samskaras. Both gross body and subtle body purification happens through these samskaras. So, but Sukadeva Goswami is above all this. He was already a purified soul. He is a Jivan Mukta, liberated soul. So there was no necessity for him to go through all these samskaras. So he just walked out of the hermitage and he went into the forest. But then Vedavyas, he has to appeal to him so much, and then he brought him back, and then he instructed him about Srimad Bhagavatam. Then another part of the story that we will discuss some other time. So like this, Sukadeva Goswami is also a very, very exalted personality. He is not an ordinary person of this world. So when such an exalted personality has to come voluntarily in this assembly of great sages, where Maharaj Pariksit is sitting on the banks of the Ganges, preparing himself to meet death as per the curse of this Brahmana boy, Shrungi. So Sukadeva Goswami appeared there, and then he delivered the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, not just for Maharaj Pariksit, but for the benefit of the entire humanity. So this is the background. So Maharaj Pariksit, he is praising Sukadeva Goswami, and this event is also it's a very wonderful parallel we can draw regarding what we are celebrating, the voyage of compassion of Srila Prabhupada to the Western world. Because a pure devotee of Krishna, carrying the message of Lord Krishna and delivering the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is not an ordinary event. Okay? Just like Sukadeva Goswami, how being inspired by Lord Krishna, being guided by Lord Krishna, he arrived at this place where all the sages had assembled, and Maharaj Pariksit was inquiring from them about how to prepare oneself for meeting death. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada, reaching the shores of America and taking all the pain of traveling in a cargo ship for 35 days, then meeting so much of suffering, so much of trouble, so much of pain, and then reaching Boston port, on September 17th, 1965, Srila Prabhupada reached Boston port, and then he landed up in the Western world, a pure devotee of Krishna, and then he created a worldwide revolution, a spiritual revolution. So it's a very, very historical event. It's a global phenomenon. So we can draw a beautiful parallel between what we heard in the Bhagavatam today, how Sukadeva Goswami arrived in the sages' assembly. The same way, Srila Prabhupada arrived at America in the same time. Like we are hearing this song marking the Bhagavata Dharma. So and he created this Hare Krishna explosion, a worldwide movement and a spiritual revolution. So Srila Prabhupada is an empowered Acharya, a great devotee of the Lord, as ordered by his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada, he sacrificed his whole life in order to execute the order of his spiritual master. Of course, Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary person. He is not a person of this world. Nobody should think that Srila Prabhupada is one of the person of this world. He is not a person of this world. He is a resident of the spiritual world. He is an associate of Lord Krishna. He is an associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is known as Senapati Bhakta, Commander-in-Chief of Lord Gauranga's army. He has been sent by the Lord personally in order to deliver, all the fallen souls of this age. In order to spread the holy name of Lord Krishna across the globe, Srila Prabhupada has been sent into this world. In fact, there are a lot of predictions about Srila Prabhupada's arrival. And there are many scriptural references are there where it is predicted that a Senapati Bhakta will appear and he is going to accomplish this mission. So I'll just read out few of these predictions. There are many predictions are there. This is in the Bhavishya Purana. Okay. So in Bhavishya Purana, these literatures are written many thousands of years back. Okay, these are all not written recently. Okay. So in Bhavishya Purana, there's a prediction about Srila Prabhupada's arrival. It is said, the Mlechas who are born from mixed countries ruled by descendants of Kashyapa, the demons, and the Shudras will become Brahmanas by initiation. They will wear shikhas and Brahmana threads and will become well versed in the uncontaminated fruit of the Vedas. They will worship me by the yajna prescribed by the Lord of the Lords, the protector of Sachi Devi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so there will be a day when all the Mlechas and the Yavanas, okay, non-Aryans, like Bharatavarsha is this Indian subcontinent. Those who are outside Bharatavarsha, those who do not follow this Varnashrama Dharma, they are called Mlecha and the Yavanas. So even they will become Brahmanas by initiation, and they will wear shikhas and the Brahmana threads, and they will become well versed in Vedas. And what do? They worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Sachi Devi. Okay, so this was predicted in Bhavishya Purana, and who accomplished this? This Srila Prabhupada. A day is going to come like that, and this is happening, isn't it? We see all Westerners, Europeans, and Americans have taken to Krishna Bhakti, and they are wearing shikha and the Brahmana thread, and they are worshipping Lord Chaitanya. So this is happening. This is already happening. And so who accomplished this? This is because of Srila Prabhupada's effort. So this is already predicted in Bhavishya Purana. And there are predictions by in Chaitanya Mangala. Okay, there is a prediction written in Chaitanya Mangala where it is said that taking the sharp sword of the congregational chanting of the holy name, I will root out and destroy the demoniac mentality in the hearts of the conditioned souls. If some sinful people escape and giving up religious principles go to far off countries, then my commander-in-chief, Senapati Bhakta, will appear to chase them and distribute Krishna consciousness. And who is the Senapati Bhakta? The commander-in-chief, Srila Prabhupada. So this is predicted in Chaitanya Mangala. About 500 years back this was written. Okay, so 500 years back itself, about Srila Prabhupada's arrival in America and transforming those who have escaped to foreign countries, like those who are, some sinful people escape and giving up religious principle go to far off countries, then my commander-in-chief will appear to chase them and distribute Krishna consciousness. Okay, and in Chaitanya Bhagavata by Vrindavan Das Thakura, it is mentioned that in every town and village, the chanting of my name will be heard. Okay. So this was realized by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada went across the globe. He traveled 14 times across the globe, isn't it? In those 11 years, from 1965 to 77, in those 11 to 12 years period, he traveled across the globe 14 times, and he made Hare Krishna a household name. In every town and village, the chanting of my name will be heard. So this was predicted in Chaitanya Bhagavata by Vrindavan Das Thakura, and this was made true by Srila Prabhupada. And there are predictions by Periyalvar also, in Sri Vishnu Chittar, Periyalvar, in one of the Divya Prabandhas, one of the compositions of Periyalvar, it is mentioned that there will come a race which will treat the earth with raised hands and a vertical tilaka on their foreheads. Who will chant the names of Hari, they will destroy the influence of Kali. See? So Divya Prabandhas are written some thousands and thousands of years back. Okay, Periyalvar time some 5,000 years back. So he is predicting that there will come a race which will treat the earth with raised hands and vertical tilaka on their foreheads. Who will chant the names of Hari and they will destroy the influence of Kali. Okay. And predictions by Sri Madhvacharya also is given. Sri Madhvacharya also is predicted about 800 years back. The real knowledge of the difference between Jiva and Sri Hari and the service of Sri Hari will spread all over the world very shortly. See, it will spread all over the world. See, nobody had predicted, nobody had assumed that this Krishna Bhakti would go outside Indian shores. Okay? Because all this Vaishnavism, Krishna Bhakti, leading a very clean life, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, all these restrictions and chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, engaging in devotional service of Lord Krishna. This is all impossible for the Westerners. So nobody had even dreamt about it, that this kind of a thing is going to happen. But it was Srila Prabhupada who made it like that. And of course, few great personalities, great saints and great acharyas, they could foresee, like here, Madhvacharya and Periyalvar and Vrindavan Das Thakura, and in the Bhavishya Purana, all these great acharyas, they could see that there will be a day like this. But who is going to accomplish this? Nobody. The particular name was not mentioned, that it is Srila Prabhupada who is going to do that. Okay. So, and then Sri Ramanujacharya also has predicted that pure devotion to Sri Hari, devoid of karma and jnana, will grow and grow like a banyan tree, covering the whole world, teaching everyone who takes shelter. So this devotional service to Hari, it's going to grow like a banyan tree covering the whole world. So this was also predicted by Ramanujacharya. But a day will come like this. The whole world will take to Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Seva to Lord Krishna. So, but who is going to do that? That was actually done by Srila Prabhupada. And then Nammalvar also, there is a prediction by Nammalvar. There is a saying like this in one of the Divya Prabandhas of Nammalvar. It said, "Victory, victory, victory, I behold something wonderful. All the inauspiciousness of the living entities is destroyed. No one is going to hell. Yamaraj has no more any work. And the effects of Kali Yuga cease to exist. This is because all over the world an increasing number of Lord Vishnu's devotees sing his names while dancing and playing musical instruments." So this Nama, everybody is taking the Nama of the Lord. So who made this Nama available to everyone? The holy name of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu's holy name, spread all over the world. Who made it possible? Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada is called Nama Upasaka. Nama Upasana, like one who worships the holy name. So Nama Upasaka is Srila Prabhupada. Like Srila Prabhupada took this holy name of Lord Krishna, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then he spread it across the world, across the globe. So there's one more prediction in Padma Purana by Bhakti Devi, Srimati Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi. So in Padma Purana, there is a prediction like this. Bhakti personified tells Narada Muni that after traveling through several places in India, she reached Vrindavana. Then she declares her resolution of leaving from Vrindavan to go to foreign countries. Idam sthanam parityajya videsham gamyate maya. Leaving this place, I will go abroad. And who took Bhakti Devi to abroad? So this was predicted in Padma Purana that a day will come and I will go to abroad and I will manifest in the hearts of Western devotees. So this was fulfilled by Prabhupada. And then predictions by Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Bhaktivinoda Thakura about 200 years back, he had predicted, 150, 200 years back, Bhaktivinoda Thakura had predicted that this is going to happen. So in Sajjana Toshani, there are many compositions of Bhaktivinoda Thakura. So in Sajjana Toshani it is said, in a short time there will be only one Sampradaya, and that will be the Brahma Sampradaya. And all of the Sampradayas will find their conclusions in this Sampradaya. A personality will soon appear to preach the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and move unrestrictedly over the whole world with his message. So this is predicted by Bhaktivinoda Thakura. In Sajjana Toshani is telling that a personality will soon appear to preach the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and he will move unrestrictedly over the whole world with his message. So who did this? Prabhupada 14 times he moved across the globe. Throughout all the 6 continents he traveled and he preached this message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then one more place Bhaktivinoda Thakura mentions that very soon the unparalleled path of Harinama Sankirtana will be propagated all over the world. Oh, for that day when the fortunate English, French, Russian, German and American people will take up banners, mrudangas and kartals and raise kirtana through their streets and towns. When will that day come? See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had predicted it, and this is actually happening, isn't it? Now we see there are ISKCON centers, Hare Krishna centers across the world. There are more than 700 centers are there now. And in all the countries, in all the cities, Harinam Sankirtana is going on. You know, English, French, Russian, German, American people, they're carrying mridanga, kartal, and raising their hands. They perform kirtan in their streets and towns. So when will the day come? This has come, and this was fulfilled by Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. And even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, Srila Prabhupada's guru, he also predicted this. So, Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, he announced in a meeting that I have a prediction. Bhaktisiddhanta announced, however long in the future it may be, one of my disciples will cross the ocean. That devotee will bring back the whole world. So this is a prediction of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura. Like he was addressing all his disciples, and then he said in that meeting that I have a prediction, that however long in the future it may be, maybe a few decades, few years, but for sure one of my disciples will cross the ocean, and that devotee will bring back the whole world. Like this, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj had predicted. And then, and in one of the predictions by Prabhupada himself, actually, Srila Prabhupada, he himself had said that one of the astrologers, when they write an horoscope, when a child is born, like normally in Indian tradition is that, when a newborn child, immediately they go to an astrologer and get the horoscope of the child. So Srila Prabhupada himself had mentioned that in his horoscope, it was written that after 70th year, this man will go outside India and establish so many temples. He would establish 108 temples. And he would go to spread the holy name of Lord Krishna. So this was predicted in the Prabhupada's horoscope itself. And this exactly happened also. Like when he was 70 years old, he reached America, and then he started preaching this Hare Krishna movement, worldwide Hare Krishna movement, and he fulfilled that. So in that sense, we should know for sure that Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary mortal being of this world. He was a specially chosen personality. He is a resident of the spiritual world. He was specifically sent for this special mission, to fulfill the desire of all these great acharyas. Like there was a prediction from Vedic literatures, from Bhavishya Purana, and there is a prediction of all these great acharyas like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Periyalvar, Nammalvar, Bhakti Devi, to fulfill the desire of all these. And Bhaktivinoda Thakura, then in Chaitanya Mangala, the Vrindavan Das Thakura has said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted, Pratibhachi Nagarati Grama Sarvatra Prachar Hobe Moro Nam. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakura is predicting, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is predicting. So like this, to fulfill the desire of all these great devotees, great acharyas, Srila Prabhupada was sent from the spiritual world in order to accomplish this mission, to fulfill this desire of the Supreme Lord. Okay, so there's one more interesting story, Mora Senapati Bhakta. In Chaitanya Mangala, it is mentioned. In Chaitanya Mangala, it is recorded that Narada Muni, while visiting the spiritual world, came upon Lord Gauranga. Okay. So Sri Gauranga Deva told him of his mission to destroy the sinful activities of Kali Yuga. He said that with the powerful chopper of Nama Sankirtana, I shall cut the hard knots of demoniac desires from the hearts of everyone. Even if the sinners reject religion or flee to foreign countries, still they will get my mercy. I will send Mora Senapati Bhakta to go there and deliver them. Mora means my, Senapati means military field commander, and Bhakta means devotee. So Mora Senapati Bhakta refers to that great devotee who will lead Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan army, who is empowered by the Lord to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. That Mora Senapati Bhakta is Srila Prabhupada. And even some, yeah, and even some may not yet recognize it. In time they will. This is the greatest benediction of our time. Okay. So like this. And there's one more reference, I just quickly read this. The Brahma Vaivarta Purana also describes a conversation that took place in Dwaraka between Lord Krishna and Srimati Ganga Devi. Ganga Devi came to, Ganga Devi, Mother Ganga, Ganges. So she came there to express her fears at the advent of Kali Yuga and the imminent departure of the Lord back to his eternal abode. In anxiety, she spoke on behalf of the sacred rivers, saying, "O Lord, we can see that your pastimes are about to end and people are becoming more and more materialistic. You have been very merciful to us. After you leave, however, all the sinful people of Kali Yuga will bathe in our waters and will become overwhelmed with sinful reaction." Then Lord Krishna says, like she was saying, like in Kali Yuga, people are all sinful. So they'll all come to the river and then leave all their sins in the river and will become contaminated. What will happen to us? Then Lord Krishna smilingly replied, "My dear Ganga Devi, please be patient. After 5,000 years, my mantra upasaka, worshipper of the holy name, will appear in this world and spread the chanting of the holy names everywhere. Not only in Bharatavarsha, India, but also all over the world, people will chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By this chanting, the whole world will become Ekavarna, having one designation, namely Hari Bhaktas, devotees of Lord Hari. And because the devotees of Lord Hari are so pure, anyone who contacts them will become purified from sinful reactions. These pure devotees will visit Bharatavarsha and purify you from sinful reactions by bathing in your sacred waters. This period of worldwide chanting of Hare Krishna will continue for 10,000 years. This is also given in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. It is mentioned like this. So, this was fulfilled by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, and who is that mantra upasaka? Bhakta, mantra upasaka Bhakta Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? He is the one who took the holy name of Krishna. Till that time, nobody had done this. No other acharya, no other personalities have done this kind of a, task of taking the holy name of Lord Krishna across the world. So that mantra upasaka is Srila Prabhupada, who is the Lord Senapati Bhakta, the commander-in-chief of Lord Gauranga's army. And 10,000 year period, this Hare Krishna movement is going to exist. This is the prediction by Prabhupada, and this is also foretold in Brahma Vaivarta Purana also, that ISKCON, this Hare Krishna movement is going to prevail for next 10,000 years. So, this Srila Prabhupada's traveling to America in the year 1965, this voyage of Jaladuta, it's a very, very important milestone in the history of humanity, which no other acharyas have ever done it. A pure devotee of Krishna, a Shuddha Bhakta, a true representative of Lord Krishna, because they are not different from the Lord. A representative of Krishna is identical with Krishna. They are not different. They are Krishna's paraphernalia. Okay, so Krishna is arranging this. He is sending a pure devotee from the spiritual world, and then Srila Prabhupada crossing the ocean and reaching the shores of America after going through so much of pain and tribulations, because for 35 days he traveled in this cargo ship, and during his travel he developed seasickness and he couldn't eat. For 2 weeks he couldn't eat anything. He was fasting. You see, can we fast for one day? We feel so tired. So while traveling especially, we tend to eat more. But actually, Srila Prabhupada, because of the seasickness, he couldn't eat for 2 weeks. And then he also had 2 heart attacks while traveling in the ship. And he took so much of hardship, so much of pain, but he never ever lost hope. Because he's a very special personality. And his determination, his enthusiasm to fulfill the desire of his spiritual master, even at the age of 70 years, he was so enthusiastic. Now, even though we are very young and we are very young, we don't see such enthusiasm of Srila Prabhupada. Like Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70 years, he was so energetic and so enthusiastic. And in spite of failing health, in spite of his old age, he was so much enthusiastic to spread the holy name of Lord Krishna, spread the teachings of Bhagavatam. and he was traveling across the world, working 18 hours, 20 hours, practically for 20, no, he would hardly take rest for 3 to 4 hours in a day. And 20 hours he'd be engaged. So like this, so much of enthusiasm Srila Prabhupada had to preach the message of Lord Krishna, and so much determination he was having. And then, his compassion for the suffering humanity. All this we can understand when we read those poems which Srila Prabhupada wrote while traveling. On September 13th, he wrote this Krishna Tava Punya Habe Bai, a beautiful song. And in that song, he is predicting that a day will come when whole world will take up chanting of holy name of Lord Krishna. Like Prabhupada foreseeing it. Even though he had not yet reached America, while he was traveling in the ship, he composed this poem, a Bengali poem, Krishna Tava Punya Habe Bai. And in that song, he is predicting that a day will come when the whole world will take up chanting of holy name of Lord Krishna, and they'll all perform Harinama Sankirtana. And after reaching shores of Boston Harbor on 17th September, Srila Prabhupada reached. And on 18th October, he wrote one more Bengali poem, Markine Bhagavata Dharma. So there also, very, very feelingly he expresses his complete surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord, and seeking Lord's help in accomplishing this impossible task. This is an impossible task, humanly impossible task. So, seeing the condition of the Western world, seeing the atmosphere in the Western world, he was feeling desperate that without Krishna's grace, I won't be able to accomplish this mission. So, he was seeking Lord's help. You can, actually, this is a very beautiful song. If there's no time, otherwise you could have read those songs. But this arrival of Srila Prabhupada on the shores of America on September 17th, 1965, it's an important event in the history. Actually, it averted World War III. It's an important thing, because in Russia it was so done, like some of the devotees in Russia, in Russian temples, they were composing a summary of Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. Okay? So, a short sketch of Srila Prabhupada's biography, and then they were distributing it. So, one devotee, one Mataji in Russian temple, she distributed, she handed over this booklet, a brief summary of Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita, to her grandfather, who was an ex-military commander in Russian army. Okay? So, this retired army commander, military commander, he was going through that brief summary of Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita, and when he read this, that Srila Prabhupada arrived in America in the year 1965, September 17th, it immediately struck him. Like what did strike him? Because he was in the army. He was the commander-in-chief. He was deployed in the Russian submarines. Actually, he was a commander-in-chief in the Russian submarines, and he was deployed in the shores of America. For 3 months he was there, and he was just waiting for the orders from the Russian government to press the buttons to release nuclear missiles. So for 3 months he was just waiting. They were all fully prepared to bomb all the cities of America, to release nuclear missiles. So the Third World War is about to start. So this is a real life incident. So this army commander-in-chief, commander in the Russian army, he is recollecting that how the whole arrangement was made, and they were at the offshores of the American coast with their submarines, and they were just waiting for the orders from the government to press the buttons to release all the nuclear missiles. But on 17th September, a special incident happened. What is that? So on 17th September, Srila Prabhupada reached the shores of America. He landed at Boston. So as soon as Srila Prabhupada landed on Boston, something miraculously happened. And there was an order that this, the war is cancelled. You just have to return back to Russia. So then this is something very strange phenomena, very extremely strange phenomena, that this kind of an order has come from the government officers, that they have to come back to Russia. So Srila Prabhupada stepping, his arrival on the land of America, just because a pure devotee of Krishna carrying the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, a representative of Krishna, because a representative of Krishna is not different from Krishna, isn't it? He's Krishna's paraphernalia, he's part of the Lord, he's associate of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada reaching America means it is divine plan of the Lord. It is Krishna. Without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how Prabhupada would go there? Isn't it? So Srila Prabhupada arriving there, and then withdrawal of these missiles from the Russian government. It's all a very special arrangement of the Lord, the divine arrangement of the Lord. Okay, so Prabhupada reached to America, and then he could expand his worldwide movement. He created a Hare Krishna explosion, a global movement he created, isn't it? There was a spiritual revolution was created, by the appearance of Srila Prabhupada. And then he established 108 temples across the world, and he made Hare Krishna a household name. He wrote 80 volumes of books. Otherwise, to understand Vedic philosophy, this Vedic knowledge, without Srila Prabhupada's purport is impossible. We cannot read and understand Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's writings. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's writings are so complicated. Nobody can read and understand. I mean, very few devotees. In fact, Prabhupada used to say, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj wrote for Prabhupada, not for others. I mean, in the sense, only Prabhupada can understand the high elevated philosophical teachings of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. Like if you try to read Brahma Samhita, so complicated, such a complex language. So only Prabhupada can understand and assimilate. And then Prabhupada so merciful, so kind, that he gave purport in such a simple language, in such an easy language, so that every one of us can read and understand. So he wrote 80 volumes of books like that, and then he translated all the important Vedic scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Isopanishad, Nectar of Devotion. And then he wrote, and he gave so many lectures, more than some 7,000 lectures on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And there are so many conversations, there are so many letters to his disciples. If you compile everything like this, all the letters of Prabhupada, all the lectures given by Prabhupada, the conversations, arrival lectures, then purports of Srila Prabhupada, if you put together all these works of Srila Prabhupada, it will take more than a lifetime to read and understand. One lifetime is not sufficient for us. So much Srila Prabhupada has given in that 12 years. So this is not possible for any mortal being of this world, any human being of this world. This is humanly impossible. So this is accomplished by Srila Prabhupada because he is an empowered Acharya. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Nama Pravartana. Isn't it? Chaitanya Charitamrita also is predicted like that. That without being empowered by Lord Krishna, nobody can do this. So Srila Prabhupada is that empowered Acharya. Krishna Shakti, he was infused with that spiritual potency, that Krishna Shakti, to accomplish this mission, Lord Chaitanya's mission. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada is like very extraordinary personality. He's an extremely a great devotee, Nama Upasaka Acharya, and a commander-in-chief. He is my Senapati Bhakta, a personal associate of Lord Krishna, descending from Goloka Vrindavana to create this spiritual revolution. And he has predicted that this is going to expand, this mission, this movement of the Lord is going to expand. Srila Prabhupada founded this society and it is going to expand. And very soon, this Hare Krishna movement will spread. It is already spreading and is going to expand more and more, and is going to satisfy the hearts of Srila Prabhupada and all the other predecessor acharyas in the parampara, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And a golden age is going to appear. In this Kali Yuga also, in this age of Kali, this 10,000 years, there is going to be a golden age where the holy name of Lord Krishna will be spread across the world, and Nama Sankirtana will spread, the message of Bhagavata will spread, like that. Okay, so this was all accomplished by Srila Prabhupada. So this is a very interesting parallel, like Sukadeva Goswami arriving to deliver Maharaj Pariksit and Srila Prabhupada arriving at America to deliver the entire mankind. So very interesting parallel it is. So we shall take inspiration from Srila Prabhupada's life, from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, and try to sincerely follow his instructions, his teachings, and make our life perfect, and try to give this message to others also, this opportunity for others also. Srila Prabhupada wanted it like that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also ordered like that. Bharata bhumile janma hoila yaar, janma sartak karo, karo paropakar. So this is the duty of every Indian, that first of all we have to make our own life perfect, janma sartak karo, and then karo paropakar. We should do help for others also. So how do we do help for others? That is by giving this message of Krishna consciousness, giving them the opportunity to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna, so that everyone can, become freed from the sufferings of material world and attain Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prema, like that. Okay, so we'll stop here. Are there any questions, any doubts? Actually, yeah. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada's journey to America ki, Nithai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.